everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of Dodge That Bullet podcast with the Rant guys. I'm Adam.
Finch.
Isaac.
James.
Isaac's back with us for the first time in a while. His first time podcasting with James and John, so this is pretty cool. I guess one thing we needed to do was we did a little preview of the national championship game, and we didn't do a follow up, so we could start there. I think today we're just going to kind of freestyle it. Not a whole lot of crazy stuff going on, but I mean there is some stuff.
Oh yeah,
we'll get to it. Trust me. Just bear with us. Hopefully we'll be somewhat entertaining. Y'all enjoy it.
Yeah. Three of y'all in the Netherlands. Appreciate y'all.
That's right. Our Dutch brethren.
Shout out to Holland.
To the Dutch. That's right.
Drop us a line.
Keep that finger in the dam.
Yeah. LSU wins.
Yeah. Bigger than I thought that they were going to. You called that. Yeah.
Yeah, James pretty much called it. I stayed with the game. I tried to watch. Here's my depth of the analysis of the game.
Yeah.
I watched it, and the halftime show was so long that my grumpy butt was just like, dude, start the game.
Right.
It's 10:30. Mm-hmm. It's Monday night.
Right.
Start the game. I want to go to bed. You know? Mm. I mean, I'm going to stay. It's a national championship game. I'm going to stay up and watch it.
Right.
But,
yeah.
It's stupid.
I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous. But
another one of those things is I don't think it's for us anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
who's it for then?
People that like to stay up past 9:30.
Yeah, I'm too old for that crap.
Dude, that game, I promise, if you're on the East Coast and you watch that game and you watch the post-game stuff and all that.
1:30 or 2.
It's at least 1 a.m. before it's over with. That's
Right.
crazy.
Well, they're different out there.
Yeah, it's not for me.
No. Me neither.
Yeah.
So not being involved in the first podcast about the national championship.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I called LSU pretty. I mean,
Most people did.
yeah. And I watched,
Especially in SEC country.
Yeah, that's right.
And
I don't like how you say that start.
And so I think I watched till halftime, and about halfway through the halftime show, I was like, I'm going to bed. Like I'm turning this off. And I watched some highlights the next day, but I mean, LSU did pretty much what I thought they were going to do.
Dominant.
Yeah, same here.
was-
I thought it would be an LSU win, and if they did, they would win going away.
Oh, absolutely.
But I also said that I thought this was kind of like a dream season, Cinderella season, and they probably wouldn't hold the core of what got them there together, and that's proven to be the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Orgeron just got a big extension.
Yeah, he's there, but I mean, he lost his quarterbacks coach and quarterback.
Coordinator. Joe Brady's the one that he was getting a lot of credit for that offense this year.
Yeah.
The most.
Dave Aranda left. He's coaching Baylor now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I mean, they broke the squad up. Clemson will be back next year, just like and that's kind of what I was getting to in the previous thing. Is that's a strong program. They're going to do the same thing year in and year out.
Plus, they got Trevor Lawrence and ETN, the running back, both coming back.
Which is just ridiculous.
And the way too early picks I've seen, of course, they're picked number one, and those two pick the top players, for next year. But yeah. That's kind of Cinderella season for LSU. They'll be strong as always, but they're not going to have a year like they did this year.
Yeah. I sorry to interrupt.
No, that was it.
I stayed with the game until the linebacker from Clemson got ejected for targeting.
Actually, I think that's when I quit watching too.
But I mean, that was a right call. I don't know, but I think right after that, maybe Clemson had a chance to score. And they didn't, and I was like, "That's it. We're done. It's over."
Yeah. I think what didn't help him is Trevor Lawrence just did not look comfortable the entire game. He didn't look like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't. He probably, they said I didn't watch, but a couple of their games and very little of them, but looked like that he had his worst game at the worst time.
Yeah. Yeah.
LSU just looked in control the entire game.
Absolutely.
I was surprised by that. I thought Clemson really would put up more of a fight.
Yeah, I mean they hung with them through the third quarter pretty much.
Yeah,
and LSU just kind of pulled away, but
LSU
stayed in it.
They never lost any steam, and Clemson just never could catch up.
Yeah.
So
I didn't feel that way. Yeah, I felt like they're in control. Is what I felt like. Even when they were down, or will they ever? right at the beginning. Yeah, they were down.
Yeah, I was checking the scores. I didn't watch it, but I was checking the scores early on, and Clemson was leading.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe so. And then when I woke up,
I missed
it looked like what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I missed a little bit because the streams that I was watching kept getting shut down. So
That was me watching the McGregor, the Colin McGregor
Speak English.
Cowboy Cerrone fight there. Now
Yeah.
I do speak of the English.
that's flagged.
Yeah,
You can't do that.
That's a content flag, sir.
I'm sorry.
That's
They did.
cultural appropriation,
Park-
sir.
if South
I thought
Park
if
can
South
do it,
Park
we
could do it, I could do it. My bad.
Well, you can do it. You see, they're proving you can do all these things.
Yeah.
It's just people are too scared. They're scared of getting canceled.
Yep.
Speaking of what you can and can't do, I think the highlight of the national championship game was the post-game celebration when OBJ's just slinging Benjamins like nobody's business.
And caught a charge for slapping a cop on the
Slap a
butt.
cop on the tail.
Yeah.
That's harassment.
I mean,
Yeah. Just looking like straight up the new Renegade U. You know what I mean? Seriously, it looks like they took the title from Ohio State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in a couple of actions.
Or
you know what I
Miami.
mean? Yeah.
yeah,
Just doing whatever they want to do.
Right.
Yep.
yeah.
It just all depends on if the NCAA locks them enough to let them do it.
It's
Sometimes
gonna be-
that seems to be the case, yeah.
Yeah, if it's beneficial enough for them to let
Was
that
it?
school.
What were the numbers like on that game?
Well, the whole South. I mean, from Texas to Florida. So
Yeah. But is that enough? They want them, Eastern Seaboard. They want them, West Coast.
Midwesterns.
Yeah.
So here's another thing. After the national championship game, the big thing is the kids going pro and kids transferring. So we've heard all about the transfer portal.
Yeah, we haven't talked much since the signing, some of the signings and some more coaching changes and stuff since the last time we talked about this stuff. Who would have seen our boy Leach go to Mississippi State?
Man, are
yeah.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun
Yeah.
For who? For them?
for football fans. For America. We're going to reap the benefits of that. No more.
I think that's a worse case scenario than when I called him going to Missouri.
No more Mike Leach games.
Yeah, I think so.
At 10:30 on ESPN2
Yeah.
on Pac-12 After Dark.
Yeah, we don't have to look him
He's
up on
got
the internet
prime time
anymore.
now.
He'll be on our channels now.
They'll be at 11 a.m. on the SEC network
Yep.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, there's not a least desirable destination than Starkville, Mississippi.
Stankonia, Starkville.
And
Stark
it's
Vegas.
just because of those stupid cowbells.
Start Vegas. Ask not for whom the bell tolls, Start. The bell tolls for thee.
We got Big Lee. We got a buddy from Alabama, and he calls me Stark Vegas
Yeah.
every time he sees me. That's
True. We should get McBride.
Yeah, why aren't you a Mississippi State fan? That's This is my town.
Man, it's
How long you got?
let me count the ways, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a scary place for him to land.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because there's talent there.
It's our side of the conference too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for Razorback fans, there really is because
It's worse than Missouri. I thought we were dreading him going to Missouri, and then oh, cool, he's staying where he's at. He's going, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Everything is scary for a Razorback
It's a
fan.
team,
Yeah,
it's the team we
especially
play
right now.
every season.
It's-
So
there's talent there in Mississippi and the Panhandle and parts of Louisiana that LSU and Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin can't pay all those kids.
Right.
Right.
Some of them are going to end up in Starkville.
Yeah.
yeah,
And Mike Leach is going to get some athletes, and
Well,
he's
with a name like Mike Leach, a few years ago, Mississippi State was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like they had a pretty good couple of seasons, and so now with
they were number one in the country at one point.
yeah, so now with a heavy hitter like that in there, I mean,
he could have a Mullen type run there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about how much longer he'll coach, but I think he'll have that kind of success.
If he
think
can
so,
be
too.
successful in Lubbock, Texas,
surely
he can be successful in Starkville, Mississippi.
Maybe they were like, how do you think they hooked him? Did they tell him that he could put kids in the woodshed?
They're used to that shit down there.
Yeah.
that's every day. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I was like, listen, coach, we got a big old closet down here. And if them kids get mouthy,
We know how you like to roll.
Oh my god.
Yeah, big changes at LSU, like we said.
One more thing about that Mississippi State deal, though, that was predetermined.
Yes.
And I don't know why they waited so late to announce it.
Recruiting.
Yeah, signing period and all that.
It is interesting that it happened after signing day.
That's some 4D chess that they pulled.
Because them letting Moorhead go was pretty surprising development, and then right off the bat, Mike Leach slides right in there.
Well, he kind of, I think he overstepped his own nutsack and issued the same kind of challenge that Chad Morris did here. He's like, no, I'm the guy for this job. You'll have to take my Yankee ass out of here.
Mm-hmm. And they did.
They did. They just waited a little bit.
Bye-bye.
Waited till his recruits signed.
Yeah.
Like, well, we like his recruits, so we'll get those, and then we'll get him out of here.
That's what Leach probably told him to do that. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I could use these guys. Just wait a few weeks.
Right. Help me out.
Yeah.
I don't like to recruit.
Yeah.
And the kids are going to be excited. I mean, they got Mike Leach. They got a high-profile coach.
Hell
You know?
Yeah.
And they're excited now. Because, I mean, I watched his little intro. It's
Right.
like, it's going to be the most demanding offseason you've ever had.
Until he starts telling them about themselves, they're not going to like it then.
And their
Right.
fat little girlfriends.
Yeah.
Man, just anything else on college football or
We got Florida's quarterback,
Yeah, I
Felipe
saw
Franks.
that.
Yeah,
Felipe
it's pretty
Franks.
Razorbacks had some changes.
Yeah.
He's transferring to Arkansas.
Signed a
I know
couple
very
of-
little about him, but I know he had some trouble down there, and then he finally started kind of playing well and getting into his own, and then he got injured.
He's got way more SEC experience than any quarterback we've had in several years.
Yeah,
So is he coming as a junior or?
He's got 1 year. He's
Okay.
he's going to try to get a medical red shirt, but they don't know. It's not guaranteed.
Okay.
he started for McElwain as a redshirt freshman.
Yeah, he had his
'Cause-
red shirt year there,
Yeah, we went down to
so it'd be a medical hardship. That's what they call it.
Cowboy Stadium, saw Michigan and Florida play a few years ago. He started that game.
Yeah, you went down there to Pearson. Yeah.
Yeah. And he struggled under McElwain. He struggled under Jim McElwain a little bit.
Started developing
Everybody
under
did,
Dan
though.
Mullen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, my brother-in-law is a Florida fan, and because that's where they're from. And I told him, I was like, that kid's going to be okay. He's going to progress quite a bit under Mullen because that's what Mullen does.
It's kind of like that Derek King kid at Houston. He has a talent, but he really developed under Kendall Briles, who happens to be our offensive coordinator now.
Right.
Which is sweet.
Yeah.
That's good news for Felipe Franks too.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
Somebody he's familiar with.
how's he going to play in a spread system like Briles is going to bring to Arkansas?
Don't know. We've signed a couple of good running backs in the last few days too.
Didn't Pittman just get a new? Yeah,
We just got one.
a 4-star
earlier.
just flipped
Yeah.
his commitment to Arkansas.
Yeah.
What do we think about?
He's plucking a lot of those Georgia kids that he was already talking to. I think.
Yeah,
What do we think
and he got a
about Sam
lineman
Pittman?
too, didn't
Yeah.
he? He's transferring.
I mean,
What do you think about
I
Sam
look
Pittman?
at the good things from whenever we had Bielema with Sam Pittman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our line, our running backs. I mean, our inside game
Toughness.
between the tackles. Man, we were rough, and then Pittman left, and that's kind of when we saw the downhill slide. And so I was a little cautious, when they first announced who it was going to be, and I was like, okay, like maybe.
Yeah.
But I like his energy. Living in Fayetteville and being close to campus. I mean, when he hired, and like the other day at the Kentucky game when he was giving out stuff to all the students who were lined up to get in the student section, a little bit shades of Morris, like, being with the students, handing out Red Bulls type of thing on a golf cart.
Right.
But, I mean, I'm kind of excited.
Morris did everything right till he had to coach a football game.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think Pittman has both those aspects. I'm pretty excited to see. I'll be interested. I'll probably go to a couple Razorback games this year, being that I live there.
He's got a hell of a staff.
I mean, yeah.
Great staff.
Absolutely.
My biggest concern with him is, just managing and all.
Right.
He's always been such a specialized, position coach that kind of being the CEO is a much bigger task. But he's got a guy there who's been doing it, Barry Odom, to help him
absolutely.
figure it out. So
And Briles has been part of some
Yes.
big time programs.
Yeah, and had a lot of success. Say what you will about his dad, they had things rolling at Baylor.
Yeah.
Yep.
And being around Lane Kiffin, and where was he at this last year?
Florida State.
Was
Yeah.
he? Was he OC?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we won't mention that, but
Yeah. But, I mean, he still improved
Yeah.
offense, like what,
When they were
12 and a half
Oh,
points?
yeah.
12 and a half points everywhere he's gone from one year to
Which
the
is,
next.
I mean, that's pretty significant.
That's
Yes.
it's super significant.
Who was that quarterback at Florida State? He started under Jimbo started him his freshman year, and he just got the hell beat out of him.
Yeah.
DeAndre Francois, something like
I
that.
don't know.
Man,
Well,
I'm
he
gonna be
ended
real
up
honest,
getting
I don't
kicked
know.
off the team, but I think that whole Florida State deal, that just set them back as a program because any more modern day football, if you don't have a quarterback, you're going to struggle.
Right.
Right.
Or if you have 6 of them that are no good, you're going to struggle.
Right.
Well, as long as you play 3 different ones every game, then nobody knows what kind of offense you can run.
That's
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Ben Hicks doing now?
Talk about playing 4D chess.
I don't know.
Playing Fortnite?
Probably.
Maybe.
Where y'all at on college football? Did we talk about this before a
No,
little
we
bit?
didn't. We didn't text.
Yeah.
We think it's kind of coming to a wrap.
Yeah.
I am nowhere near as engaged and what would you call it? Man, I'm just not. Dude, I used to be ate up with it,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm not there anymore.
Right.
And it's part of it is
Age.
part of it's me getting older. Part of it is I don't know. Well, the age thing, for me to sit here and be a 40-something-year-old man and just kind of just hinge my entertainment happiness on the performance of 18 to 20-year-old kids is kind of weird
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah. I think that's just that's a natural aging thing. Because if you can talk to some of these old road hog fans, still go to every game and everything, but they're like, win, lose, whatever. We just like going to games.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's more of the event than
yeah.
anything.
Just,
That's kind of what you asked me the other day. We was on the phone. He's like, why y'all go to so many basketball games? I was like, it's just what we do.
Yeah.
I
Ain't
mean,
nothing else to do.
It's better than sitting at home watching TV.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Talking about high school basketball games, but
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, so much has changed. I don't think it'd be such a bad thing if they figured out, like, do they need some kind of farm league? Like, does the NFL need a farm league like Major League Baseball has?
Have a D-League football team?
Yeah.
isn't that what it's going to become if they start paying players?
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, I see it from the player standpoint, too. It's like, y'all are making so much money off these guys, you know, and they're good enough, some of them, to go. I don't think the NFL would take them straight in the league, but they're good enough to get paid to play. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you don't think the NFL would ever do like the NBA and just take kids straight out of high school?
No, they can't.
it would be like, boy, it would be 1 in a million.
No, man.
I don't
you
think,
can't.
but I don't think I've ever seen anybody
That'd
that
be
could
like
just,
That
playing.
was ready for the NFL.
Yes.
That'd be like trying to play Pop Warner kids against college kids.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's
They'd
like
get-
who
they'd
was
get
the
wrecked.
last person the last guy they really made an argument for was Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
And Fournette, it took Fournette. You can say what you want about the team dynamics in the NFL, but it took him
Yeah.
3 years to have just a
really good year.
really meet expectations as an NFL running back.
Yeah.
But when he was at LSU, the question was, should he sit out? Should he even be playing? Because he's ready for the NFL right now. And then he goes to the NFL, and
And he wasn't ready.
It took him some time to
Right.
really be a force.
I mean, and that dude physically is a freaking monster.
So Derrick Henry's the same way.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the consistent thing I always hear from players that have gone on and spent some time in the NFL, whether they lasted or not, is that the NFL is a different thing. These college kids are, the world's about them. Everything's about them. And they are, I can argue against the whole thing about the schools making so much money and these players, are they getting shortchanged because they're not getting paid? They are getting paid in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the stars of the campus.
It's called tuition.
It's called tuition. It's called all these other benefits.
Fringe
that they
benefits.
Get. There's lots of benefits, and there's stuff under the table that we all are aware of, but nobody can prove.
Don't they get a stipend too? I mean,
Yeah,
they do.
yeah,
they
they get
give
per
them
diem
money to
stuff.
live off
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then so they talk about how these kids are, they're the biggest thing going, and then they get to the league, and they've got coaches, and they got people watching after them, tutors, and all these assistants and stuff that help take care of them through their college years. Then they get to the league, and it's a job. It's on you. You do it, or you just don't work.
Well,
you
go
paid.
from talking about Leonard Fournette. You go from being a really big fish, and really, compared to the NFL, a really small pond,
right?
Yeah.
To being a normal fish in a big pond, and you're like, oh well, I did this in college, and you're looking at NFL players who are like, I don't care what
they don't.
Where'd you go to college? Like, who cares?
We can all do that.
I don't even remember college.
Everybody here was an All-American.
Yeah, everybody here is as good as you.
Mm-hmm. I think who was that? I was telling you about it.
Yeah.
Larry Allen broke this dude down. It was like, man, nobody cares if you're an All-American. Everybody here was an All-American.
That's right.
It's like nobody cares.
Quit
It's like, what are you going to do here?
Quit using it as your tagline.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe it'd be good, like, if somebody thought that they could make it to go up there and just get wrecked. You know what I mean?
They should have let me clear.
I mean, in my mind, the only person I ever saw that, like, in my lifetime was Michael Vick.
Flagged right there.
And I mean, yeah.
Can't talk about him.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like, he was just a different kind of talent.
Yeah. I guess with the rules the way they are now, say if you were maybe a red shirt, you could get drafted after your freshman year as a quarterback.
Yeah.
And a lot of teams do take that year to kind of let the quarterback develop a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, the way the NFL rules are now, you're still going to get hit.
But he was a running back playing quarterback and could actually throw the ball.
Right.
So.
But the game was different then, too.
Yeah.
Because the quarterback got out of the pocket. They'll clean your clock, and it's your fair game.
Oh, I mean, if the rules have been different when he came to the league, probably
he's still in the league.
Lamar Jackson now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If he just wouldn't have got caught.
Yeah.
Messing with those pit bulls.
Messing with them dogs.
It ain't getting caught. It's doing it in the first place.
Is it, or is it getting caught?
I mean,
I think that's the same thing as the cheating in the schools. We all know what's going on, but whether you get caught or not's the deal.
Yeah, and I'm not.
That's kind of a culture. I'm not big on that culture either.
I'm not an animal lover, but
I'm not saying kill dogs or fight them or whatever. I'm just saying it is the getting caught part.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just of the mind that
he shouldn't have been doing
when you're a millionaire athlete.
Like, why are you
occupy your time somewhere else?
Because that was his thing. He
Tell
came
your
up doing
homie
that stuff.
that's like, hey, bro, let's start fighting these dogs. It's like, dude, go home.
Be like Mike Tyson and get some pigeons.
Don't be nothing like Mike Tyson. That's not a good example.
You're not in a gang. You're a millionaire.
Yeah.
Don't run around,
act like it,
kill people, and try to get away with it.
That's right.
That's a different story.
Yeah,
we haven't gotten there yet.
I'd be like Ray Lewis and just have somebody, that it's understood that they're
Ray's Teflon.
Ray is, man. He went from straight, and his advisors must have been like Creflo Dollar, and some televangelist or something. Because when he got out of that deal, boy, he was all. I mean, he wouldn't even be talking about Jesus,
the Lord,
but you felt like you were at church.
Yep.
I mean, his PR people, they must.
Maybe it was a wake up call for him.
I think they must have helped Ken Hamlin out too at Seattle.
Yeah.
What happened with Hamlin?
Wasn't some guy ended up with his head cracked open from a parking meter that had been ripped out of the ground and beat over the head
in Seattle? Was that happened when he was in Seattle?
I think so. Wasn't that the deal?
Jeez.
Yeah. Wow. I hadn't heard that.
And he skated on that. I mean, who knows if he actually did it or not? I mean,
here's my thing: if you can just manhandle a parking meter out of the concrete, I mean, let people do what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
It was something like that. I can't remember. It's a long time ago. Ken Hamlin's old name.
Yeah. I remember him. Didn't he get hurt one of Nutt's final years? And it's kind of I know there for a couple years he was like the backbone of that defense.
He was such a strong player, but he was also the guy 2 years in a row that turned Alabama running back loose for 80 yards, like first play of scrimmage. Start out the two games in a row.
Was he on the defense with like Caleb Miller and Tony Bua? And them? Okay.
Yeah. He was the last really good safety that we had too.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the things that we always had. We always had good running backs,
good strong safeties,
and good safeties.
Well, then Petrino transitioned.
Yeah.
To don't get mad at me, James. Recruiting 5-star cornerbacks like Darius Winston, and I mean he turned out so great.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean,
Nut tried to get a couple of those too.
We had Batman.
Mark Carroll. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was complete garbage.
He was kind of like,
my opinion.
man.
yeah, I didn't think he did.
He was that guy that would look really good one minute and then supposed to be that 4-3 guy, but the next minute
Get burned.
just totally whiff on somebody and the dude's 15 yards behind him.
Yeah, he's looking at
then
the
come back
bleachers
and
or
make
something.
Yeah.
5-yard tackle that you're supposed to make and then celebrate.
Yeah.
It's like, what, dude?
Who played on the other? Was it Lawrence Richardson? Was on the other side?
Yeah.
I liked him better.
I did too. He was the better talent.
He was just a solid.
They both went to the league.
Better performer, I guess.
Batman's first round pick, man.
Yeah.
We couldn't believe
Packers,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We couldn't believe that. We were
No.
like, that guy gets burnt like every 3 plays.
Yeah, Burnt Man is what they started calling him.
But he just had world class speed. Everybody, that's what they were hiring him for. You know, I mean, they were like, this guy's fast.
He had the speed. If he could have kept his head in the game, he'd have been really something.
But just to kind of bring it back, though, I mean, for me, the OBJ thing kind of brings it home that college football is more or less it's a 2 or a 3 year stepping stone for these 4 and 5 stars
Yes.
to go to the NFL. You see some stuff it's more than that for them, some of these guys, but for the most part, and I think about just how much of my time I would devote to football and how much of it I would spend reading up on stuff, following recruiting, this stuff.
I remember coming over when I was in high school on a Saturday, and we literally would watch college football. I mean, all Saturday.
Oh, dude, I would start. I'd start at 8 a.m. watching game day, and I would watch football until
The closing.
the Pac-12 game
Yep.
or the Mountain West game that was on at 11:30. You know,
Sports Center
They
game
used to
day
be highlighting
finale.
my
or
days.
whatever.
Yeah.
yeah,
We
Was
all
watching
would.
you fight with the Moss brothers on Facebook about the SEC. And
yeah, it wasn't much of a fight.
it was so funny, bro. I live for that stuff, man.
But no, I'm just kind of like, man, I guess it is just an age and a priority deal.
Some of it.
To where it's just like,
And they keep changing the rules, because of CTE, and then also to
The
get
transfer portal. I mean, a lot of rules are changing. They're changing the game.
Yeah, Michigan thought they were going to benefit off the transfer deal, and then Shea Patterson was a good quarterback, but he didn't live up to the hype.
Right.
I mean, when in big situations when we needed him,
Right.
he couldn't do it. We had a chance against Alabama this year, and he just continually overthrew them guys. Had open receivers and couldn't.
Yeah,
hit
that
the
game
guy.
was pretty. That game was pretty rough.
Trust me.
He's
I've
talking about
seen
Michigan
worse.
we.
That's true.
Arkansas, we didn't have a chance.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like I was not trying to dog Michigan because I watched that game.
Yeah.
And was talking to Stark about it, but no, we didn't have a chance against nobody this year,
no.
like remotely.
That's bad.
But I'm still a fan. I'll still keep watching.
Oh, for sure.
More casual.
It's really
Less into it.
Yeah.
the only sport I pay attention to is college
Right.
football.
Yeah.
I don't really
Anymore.
pay attention to the NFL anymore.
We all used to even keep up with the NFL.
Yeah, fantasy football ruined that for me.
Right.
Because I'm a Broncos fan.
Yeah.
But I got where I was paying attention so much to the players and the stats and all that stuff, the box scores of these guys that I had, picked for my teams that I wouldn't even I wasn't even watching Broncos
Just
games. I
took
was
the fun out of the game.
just
for
watching the tickers, see what's going on.
Yeah.
It kind of sucked the life out of it for me.
I got like that too with I still enjoy fantasy, but it's not near as
You. Well, when you're playing for such a sweet belt, like we have in our league,
we got a fantasy football wrestling belt. That's
It's
our
pretty
championship
awesome.
trophy you get to keep for a year if you win.
In our league, the league I was in for 10, 15 years before I quit playing, the championship included a bunch of guys accusing you of cheating all year, calling bullshit on trades and shit that helped you win. So
Yeah.
that was our fantasy football championship.
I don't know if y'all saw it on
Bunch of
Twitter. A guy posted he finished last in his fantasy football league. So the deal was he had to stay in a Waffle House for 24 hours. For every waffle he ate it knocked an hour off his sentence. So, and he was live tweeting the whole thing.
Wow.
So
is that really a punishment though?
I don't know. Depends on who you ask.
Back in the day, I could have ended my sentence pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd been like Kobayashi, like dipping them in coffee and just sogging that stuff up.
How miserable would you be after 24 waffles?
I don't think I could do 24.
How miserable
Couldn't
would you
do
be
24.
after staying in Waffle House for 24 hours?
Yeah.
Fair. Depends on where it was.
Those are some. I mean, they're like plate-sized waffles, though.
They're big,
Yeah.
big waffles.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
So, but
I just had one the other day.
I hadn't had one in a while. One of those pecan waffles sounds real good right now.
Yeah.
speaking of Twitter, do we want to get into?
Is this
Joe Rogan getting
is this
lynched?
the world events section of
I reckon.
I
Joe
guess
Rogan
so.
versus the world.
Yeah.
Our boy Joe Rogan, our hero.
Yeah.
Y'all's boy. So I know, I'll just be honest. Me and Sark have talked about Rogan before. I love Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I don't like habitually listen. And
Yeah.
I want to. I just have so many other things that I listen to that, like he's on my list. I just haven't got there yet. But anytime I'm telling Sark, if I see a clip of him on social media talking to somebody, I watch it. And because I'm like, this dude is on it. Like he is one of the best personalities that, ever. I love the dude.
So the big controversy of the week was Joe Rogan. Might get a little political here, y'all. You might want to plug your ears.
Yeah.
Keep the podcast running. Just don't listen. Like Joe Rogan was casually talking to one of his guests, and he said that he would probably vote for Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Now this isn't an endorsement for Bernie Sanders. It's not a non-endorsement. I don't care who you vote for.
Things are probably going to keep going the way they're going no matter who's in there anyway.
Guess what?
So.
On election day, whoever gets elected, whenever they get inaugurated, guess what? I'm going to be at work, so it doesn't matter.
That's right.
You're not going to watch the inauguration. You're not going to watch
No.
all the stuff.
I'm going to watch my paycheck get
Exactly.
brutally tortured
Yep.
week after week.
By the same people.
Yeah. And it doesn't
On both
matter if
sides.
it's a Republican or a Democrat. They all want my money.
They do. That's right.
But
one
But
thing
that's the
they
thing that's
all
going to
have
get you
in common.
flagged there, buddy.
Yep.
All right. It's like, whoa, these guys know.
The
They know the
FBI
game.
is on their way.
They know what happens.
yeah, so back to the Rogan deal. Rogan said he would probably vote for Bernie Sanders, and
Yeah.
he gave a few reasons why. It wasn't nothing crazy.
No, it was a really simple reason. He just said, I feel like the stuff Bernie talks about, he's been talking about since the 60s. He's been super consistent. It's really hard to argue that.
Yeah.
He has.
Whether you like him or not, it's hard to argue that.
Yeah.
He's been saying the same stuff since the hippie days.
Yeah.
So,
I guess if you want to talk about and I do pay attention to this stuff because it's just interesting to keep
Yeah.
up with. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican either, but
Right.
probably the three most consistent candidates for the Democratic nomination are Andrew Yang,
Yep.
Tulsi Gabbard,
Oh yeah.
Bernie Sanders.
Yep.
And, Elizabeth Warren, she just
Used to be a Republican.
yeah. Elizabeth Warren could basically say, "Hey, I'll do all the stuff Bernie will do, but I'm a woman."
Right.
And that's basically the difference between them.
Don't you feel like that's what they're trying to do with that team, though? That's Team Vagina?
Oh, I think so.
Okay.
That was their ticket.
Okay, yeah.
The last election. So.
Right.
But back to the deal.
Sorry.
Sorry to cut off Team Vagina there. So Bernie Sanders' team shares the Joe Rogan endorsement, air quotes. It wasn't some beaming endorsement. It was just
Probably going to vote for Bernie.
passively giving his thoughts in a conversation on a podcast, like we're doing right now.
Right.
But so woke Twitter, social media,
Whoa, Twitter.
jumps all over it, says, "You can't be a part of our team anymore, Joe Rogan," and then starts calling Rogan alt-right, starts calling him a bigot, starts calling him a transphobe, a homophobe, racist, all this nonsense.
Misogynistic.
Yeah.
That's their favorite word.
Yeah.
Misogynistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then some of the leftists who might have liked Bernie before were getting upset because he was, spoken for by Joe, right? Isn't that,
Like, why would you
deal?
associate with Joe Rogan?
Yeah. Oh yeah, but yeah, and you didn't hear this when Bernie was on Rogan's podcast.
Yeah, it's been
a month ago
or
so.
It's been like 3 months ago.
Has it been that long?
Yeah. Because he said, hey, when you get in there, tell me about the aliens. And they made a deal.
Yeah. And
Incredible.
Yeah.
This will be our one way inside.
why weren't we doing
51.
this when the Area 51 stuff was going on?
We should have been.
We missed that.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Bernie
still
people
time.
are all like, "Oh, you can't be a part." No, and they didn't say anything when he was on the podcast.
Right.
No.
But now it's like you can't be a part of our team. You can't. We don't accept this.
Right.
So I mean, it's like, how do you make these people happy?
Not that Joe Rogan cares about that. I don't think, but like the way I see it is, Rogan probably has far right followers because of some of the stances they take. He probably has far left.
Yeah.
And he's pissed off both of them because they're like, far right's like, oh, you love Bernie Sanders, but you're a socialist commie scumbag. Then you have far left who are like, oh, well, you can't support us because you like other things that aren't like our ideals.
Right.
And so I love, like I said, love Joe Rogan, but it seems to me like he's just not going to win.
No.
I mean, which I don't think he cares about. I don't
No,
think
he's not trying to
two
win.
craps about winning.
No.
But he just, I mean, any other person would have, quote, committed suicide right there. Like, committed celebrity suicide. I won't say political because he's not really, but you get the point.
Well, he's an East Lib. He's a voice,
Yeah.
The thing on the deal with the Rogan and the Bernie thing that got me fired up was what you sent in the group text.
Yeah.
And it's basically somebody who was picking out, select quotes from Rogan's deal, from Rogan's different podcasts and things that he said over the years, over the time, and essentially picking out things that would make you think he's anti. What are we talking about? Gender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gender equality and preference equality. And here's my deal.
You want me to read this?
Yeah, go ahead.
It says,
It was a good rant.
now I'm just going to read the tweet that set James off pretty much. Joe Rogan has friendly interviews with Milo Yiannopoulos and Jordan Peterson. Good Lord.
Yiannopoulos.
Yeah, what you said.
Who was an idiot.
He was pretty much canceled because of the Joe Rogan interview.
Yes.
Because Rogan just called him out on some of that crap. Jordan Peterson is... He's like the most sensible, common sense person I've heard when it comes to a lot of things. He doesn't pander to the
Yes.
hello there, friend.
This freaking guy.
He doesn't he just, we could go on for an hour about all the crap. Just look it up. I mean, it's all about like Canada and what they're doing as far as like almost prosecuting people because you're not giving in to all this, the pronouns and the things that.
Well, yeah, that's how he got famous, because they don't have a, freedom of speech like we do.
Right.
So, and he just basically bowed up and was like, I'm not using your made up words.
Right. And it wasn't even just pronouns.
Right.
It was like, that'd be like, my name's Adam. My pronouns are he, him. I identify as a hot air balloon.
Right.
You have to respect that. I mean, anyway, we're rambling a little bit.
No, I don't,
dude.
We're flagged right there.
Yeah. But Joe Rogan also had friendly interviews with Milo Yiannopoulos, Jordan Peterson, yelled, "You're an effing man" on air about a trans woman, vocally argued against allowing trans kids puberty blockers this year. Couple of us leaned back in our chairs on that one. And believes the world is stacked against men, so enjoy. I just, yeah.
They lost me on a couple of them.
Yeah.
James, you want to elaborate on that?
Well, the first thing I was going to say is that, the big picture here is we're talking about a presidential candidate who has to consider the good of the entire country. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And issues that face the entire country. And while preference and gender issues are certainly at the forefront of everybody's minds. Those aren't the number one things, the most important things that voters should be basing their opinions on when it comes to the governing of the people of this country. And that seems to be what that person's post was focused on, and seems to be the most important thing to that person about this upcoming election. I just don't happen to agree with that. I think that those are important issues. I think everybody's entitled to their opinion, but so am I. Right. You don't get to tell me any more what my opinion is any more than I get to tell you what your opinion is.
But you see, because you're a white male, your opinion doesn't matter.
This is an audio format. They don't know what color he is.
Well, they do now.
You just outed him.
They do now.
I'm pretty sure y'all
I feel attacked. Yeah, we have actually.
We're 3 white males sitting here.
Yeah, 3 middle-aged white males.
If you get death threats, it's Isaac's fault.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen because
I've been dead. Come at me.
Yeah, exactly. But
Didn't agree.
It's an issue, but it's not the issue. You're exactly right.
No,
and the bottom line is I don't care. I mean, like, you can do whatever you want to. It's a free country.
Exactly.
I think
just don't. Bottom line, don't tell me what to think or what to say.
That's right.
I think kind of following up on what you said is kind of like where the libertarian movement has gained a lot of momentum, and that's in like a lot of this stuff that we base political decisions on. They don't have anything in the world to do with politics.
No. These are human issues.
Yes.
Being a decent human being is helping somebody out that might come here, the refugee.
Right.
I think a guy back there said that, welcome, the refugee into your home, So, I don't know. Y'all know what guy I'm talking about? That Jesus fella?
No. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean...
These are not some of this stuff's not political issues.
No,
I don't hold anything
not
against somebody.
That particular post that you just read was focused around those human issues. Those
absolutely.
Those are not governing issues.
No.
Well, the thing is, these people want these.
You need a
issues
microphone.
To become. Do I need one?
Yeah.
You just come in here. You think you can just come in here and?
I'm sorry. I was guaranteed I'd be back here by 11, and I ended up here at 2. So, so a lot of this is like you're talking about is that they're human
Kirkland's
issues.
joining us now. He came in late.
Kurckland has entered the chat.
These human issues, but they want them to become political issues. We want laws in place where a lot of people will make.
They want to legislate morality.
Yeah, and they want to.
Both sides want to do that.
That's a great
A lot
statement.
of people feel like they're not valid. Like if you don't use the pronouns that I identify as, then that's an attack on me and that's an attack on my character. And you don't believe you're not even validating my existence as a human being. And so like with Canada, like they don't have free speech. It's criminal to say certain things about certain people.
Even if your pronoun is a made-up word that only you know what it is.
You can be taken to court.
I wouldn't know
Yeah.
how to refer to someone unless I had read their Twitter bio. You know?
And that's the thing. That's just not a functional thing that we can place in society. Every single time you introduce, you can't... I mean, you could go as far as, like, you can't assume name, you can't assume anything. You're going to have to... stop all full-blown all conversation. You can't identify anyone like across the room, try and say like, hey, this person, there's a lot of complications that come with that. It's really difficult, but like you said, it's these human issues that they are human issues and they need to be discussed and talked about and they are important, but it's not a political thing that
not
they're
on
trying
the internet
to make.
where it's not real. You know what I mean? I know a person who grew up a boy and has now decided that she wants or he, whatever he prefers, wants to be a woman. Okay, great. It's a free country. You can do that. You think, I love this kid. You think I'm going to be a jerk to this person?
Yeah.
I mean.
But people have. I mean, we got to be fair
exactly.
about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I probably, wouldn't. If me and this person were out in public and somebody was, going to come up and try to be hateful, which they're not going to because you don't, do that kind of crap in real life.
No.
You're going to do it on the internet.
Oh yeah, completely.
But you're not going to do it in real life, you know.
Plus,
that's the thing.
after we all saw that dude snap at GameStop, we're backing off them people.
Right.
We're going to let them have their space.
Yeah.
I mean, because that was frightening.
And that's the thing too. That's really tough. Again, having a conversation as all male, white, straight dudes is
as far as we know.
a lot of a lot of arguments will be just completely invalidated because of that fact alone. But I mean, exactly like you said, there's
A lot of these people don't even believe that these opinions they're putting out there. A lot of it's just trying to gain social currency because, just like you said, we're not.
Yes.
We're at the bottom of the barrel now. What it is like they're trying to change the language. They're trying to change everything. They have to, because if they want to win the game, they have to flip the board over and change the rules.
Well, the average person, I think, just regurgitates information that they heard from somebody else that they idolize, especially about this. They're like, well, if this person says I'm, XYZ, well, then I must be XYZ, so you have to be this too. And so I think, I don't know, kind of like you said, we're trying to put like morality into law, or you said it really good, and I can't remember what you said.
Legislate morality.
Yeah. And so, like me and Kirk have talked about a lot too, just about transgenderism in sports. We talked a lot about sports earlier before you got here, and I really hate that.
And that's where Rogan really puts his foot down.
Oh yeah,
because you've got men that biologically they are a male adult.
They rode around with testosterone for 27 years,
and they
all
get
of a sudden,
exemptions for testosterone,
right?
In like pre-fight testing, weightlifting, things like that. And they're just dominating women. Fallon Fox was a male that transitioned to a female
and wrecked.
That was an MMA fighter, and she cracked a woman's skull.
Yeah,
I mean that's to me that's assault.
Criminal. Yeah,
yes.
I mean I'm sorry if I may be a little overprotective because I raised 2 daughters, but if I'm
with a penis, that's a criminal charge.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's like, that.
Sorry.
That's insanity, really.
Yeah.
That we're celebrating that, but.
And that's the thing. Like, how far do you want this whole wanting to include and equality to go to of I mean, if we want to just leave it in sports of. Okay, these women are coming in here who are now, these men are coming in here as now presenting themselves as women and are, like you said, absolutely destroying these women whenever you have physical combat sports. But then
it's not only combat, though. It's weightlifting, it's
wrestling.
track.
I know, and see, I think that is a little bit different. I'm still completely against it because that's wrong. There's a lot of things that go into why that's wrong, but specifically about combat sports, I mean, I just can't believe that's ever been a thing.
Here's my deal with it.
There's a biological advantage whenever you've been exposed to, like you said, testosterone for years at a time. Even if you were like 15 and you decided to transition,
if
that's
their
15
Twitter
years
bio says she or her, that biological advantage is gone.
But here's the thing. You never see it the other way. You don't see
a woman.
Women transitioning to men competing in men's sports, or I haven't. Or maybe they're just not as successful.
Well,
I haven't seen it.
You have women who don't transition who go out and compete in football and other men's sports. I mean, it's just, you know what, do what you got to do, but don't tell everybody else what they got to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the expectation of the people that you are fighting against, and that's fair. But you have to also allow us that same courtesy.
And that's kind of the state of our political climate now, and why it's just so. It's just ridiculous, but it's so entertainment driven instead of fact driven, instead of policy driven.
We're an attention driven society, and that's what, like he said, social currency.
The whole political, with it could be debates, it could be the impeachment. It's all driven by cable news, sponsorship dollars, advertising. That's who drives the narrative. They keep that wedge of separation between one party or the other. You have to pick. You either watch CNN and MSNBC or you watch Fox News. You can't watch both of them.
Well, in a world full of gray area, we're told we can't be gray. You have to be, in this instance, red or blue. And that's just not how humans are supposed to live.
You sound like Luke on Last Jedi.
I don't ever say that ever again. But no, I think that me and Kirk listen to a podcast called Time Suck. And it's just about learning about interesting things that people are just like to learn about. And a big thing that the host talks about is critical thinking. And like as a generational, as humans have aged, we've lost our ability to think critically.
And it's even discouraged.
Exactly.
Completely.
You don't have to think. Don't think because this is already known. Just follow. And
that's where facts are no longer pretty much facts. Like one research will come out about this from one party. The opposite party, if you quote unquote, the opposite party presents the same kind of research, same sample, whatever. It'll be different facts to reflect the views of whatever party.
It's because the lizard people that control the Illuminati.
Right. You can take that's what they do. They take the same information and they spin it to fit their narrative.
And that's hard for whenever the majority of the public is looking for. Or isn't even really tied to one party, but will look at just, let's say, CNN instead of Fox News. What they see on CNN is presented as fact, whether it is or isn't, and then Fox News is presented, oppositely. However, these are just, very general, broad terms of basically what the climate is of just this. You are on one side or the other.
How many episodes have y'all listened of Joe Rogan?
I know tons. I mean, out on the road.
I just started this past year.
Yeah, but I mean, he drops on average 4 or 5 new episodes a week. I mean, almost every
daily.
Day.
Yeah,
and how many times have you ever heard him just? I've heard him disagree with people, but how many times have you ever heard a heated argument on that podcast? Besides the Alex Jones episodes.
One of the things that's appealing to him is he has his own opinions, but he also allows the folks that come in to the opportunity to voice their opinions and give some sort of discourse about it, some sort of where they're coming from, what their perspective is.
Yeah, you mean like a rational human being, because you've had a completely different life. All you guys have had completely different lives and different experiences, even though we're quote unquote white males. You know what I mean? But everybody's had different experiences and everybody interprets everything different. And when you're talking to me about something, Adam, I operate on the assumption that you know more about what you're talking about than I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you probably should. You shouldn't always do that.
No, but
with me in particular.
Same
here. But what I'm getting at with that,
but at least you're giving me your perspective, even if I disagree with it, at least you're saying, well, I've never looked at it like that.
Yeah, so it goes back to what Kirk said about, or maybe it was Isaac, about mainstream media and how they try to force the narrative and they pander to who they know are going to see their headlines and things like that. That's why people like Joe Rogan have gained so much relevance in the last few years, is because now there's a platform to where we don't depend on articles and we don't depend on news bites. We don't depend on 90-second segments on the news. We actually have a platform now to where we can digest a long form conversation to where people can share ideas and you can hear sides of both sides.
Right. The unwillingness for discussion has destroyed so much of progress in the past couple decades of just how it feels like how separate, like the peak of where people are kind of in the middle of bipartisan of just what's best for this country. And then it feels like those are rising on both sides and less of in the middle of what's best for this country, what's best for my party, and what's best for my values and morals.
Yeah. There was a guest this week, and we were texting, and I won't say everything we said, but, we all kind of agreed, like, hey, I like this person's point on when she was talking about she was making points about the Palestinian and Israeli conflict.
Yeah.
That I know it feels like we're jumping all over the place on this. She was making points about that conflict that I'd never heard.
Right.
You know, that I had never really thought of or seen it explained that way. And I thought, that really does explain that conflict in a way that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
But she was making points on other things where she was kind of contradicting herself. So
right, because she comes from a very biased place when it comes to those things.
Right.
What were you gonna say, James?
I don't remember.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I got distracted by the movie.
Yeah, we got Spider-Man playing in the background just randomly. But
And even though I disagree with her, I mean, she did. The main thing that was irritating about that was, when people contradict themselves, it's like, okay, you haven't. What you're telling me is that you really don't have you're not married to that idea, and you don't really have a strong opinion about that.
But she was stating it in a way where she did.
Right.
Yeah.
Back to what we were saying a minute ago, and I think this is what I was thinking, is that, as far as the expectation is for us all to divide up and pick a side, red or blue,
right.
black or white, whatever the case is, pick a side and you roll with it. But it kind of goes back to what we were saying about college football earlier. We get so worked up and invested into this team and this identity, and it's really, what are we rooting for? We're rooting for 18 to 20-year-olds who have no bearing on our actual lives. Well, that's the same thing we're doing in the political environment, in the social environment today. Is there are issues that are common to all of us, and there are individual issues. And when you're dividing up strictly into two different teams or whatever the case is, you're missing a lot of those middle ground issues, like Isaac mentioned, and those are getting lost in the fold because we're dividing over issues that really aren't reflective of the entire population.
And they're surface level.
Yes, and they are surface level.
Well, I was getting tired.
Where I stick my penis should not be my identity purely.
So
that irritates me.
Living and dying by the performance of an 18 to 20-year-old, we're putting all of our chips into issues that don't really, at the end of the day, govern and control the welfare of the whole populace.
Right. We were. Oh, I don't even know if I want to get into this or not.
Go ahead, brother.
Well, we were talking about Trump earlier. Not to just dog on the Democrats, but it's kind of like there's some good things that are happening, but what happened to repeal and replace?
Yeah.
That's one of the big things Trump
He's
ran on.
done everything he said he was going to do. Adam?
Get back on your tractor, sir.
Y'all be nice. That's my president. But it's just like, I don't know, man. Here's the thing that just drives me nuts about modern politics. Nobody has any. What can I do to make my life better? Yep. There are minor things that are going to change around me regarding the federal government and stuff, and there are things we should stand up for. The gun rally in Virginia this past week, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I mean Second Amendment. I don't want to put my well-being in the hands of the most inefficient, corrupt organization in this country. That just happens to run the country.
In the history of history.
Well, I can't say that because
we wasn't around for the Roman Empire. You're right.
I was about to say.
But you think
Egypt.
about how North Korea runs their. We're not as bad as Iran and North Korea.
Russia.
And Russia. I mean,
I guess relative to.
We're not dragging people off. Yeah, we are. I was going to say we're not dragging people off of.
Well, that's what I've always liked about that team, though. That they were all about,
Now we just got flagged.
Yeah. Well, that's what I always did. I always liked that about that team. That they were about gun control. They were about Second Amendment. Against gun control.
I thought,
and then
who are you talking about now?
I'm talking about red team, Republicans generally, and then blue team. What I always liked about them is that they were compassionate and introspective,
cared about everybody else,
civil rights, and that's what they're doing with this whole, gay and trans rights thing. It's coming. I feel like a lot of it is coming from a good place, but you also have a lot of people that are they're trying to get some social currency by standing up and being a white knight for this stuff.
Well, that's the thing. Whenever our political and social climate has switched to this thing of a cancel culture of if you are against this or if you're not for this, then you're against it, right. And you don't deserve an opinion. You don't deserve to be heard.
You don't deserve to exist.
Basically,
yeah.
And there's the same people who will fight for the right of everyone deserves to exist. Okay, you said this. And you had an opinion. We disagree with it. You don't deserve to exist anymore. There's no middle ground.
We have, as a country, we have historically frowned on other cultures when they take a "if you're not with us, you're against us" mentality. Yet that's exactly what's going on in our country today.
How long have we made fun of France?
Yeah.
I listened to a really cool podcast the other day and saw some facts. And France has won more military battles than they've lost.
Get out of this house.
But because of World War II, everybody hates France. Because they just rolled over against, the German war machine.
The statue in the harbor is indicative of the fact that they
bailed us out, too.
They bailed us out.
I think we're even, though.
I think we're pretty
We're square. We're square.
But no, a little tidbit about France right there. No, I don't have any love for the white flag.
Well, again, when you're talking about
croissant eating.
Adam doesn't like France. Something I learned
today. Do I have any listeners in France?
Just in other words, go Holland. We love Holland.
I'm going to hashtag France and see what we get.
But when we
any Frenchies on Instagram, give us a follow.
When we talk about social currency, and especially with this, the whole gun control movement idea, whatever, we need to. This is how people are dying. To solve it is to eliminate guns, so we can save children's lives. And they'll present we're trying to save children's lives and stop murders by gun, and then we'll say, okay, so this is how we do this, and it's by taking the guns away, and that's just not factually, or it's not functional. It's against the Constitution.
Sound.
It's not logically sound at all. And what's weird is, again, with the left of the liberal who wants to push this side, push a mental health agenda, which is great, of helping people with mental health, making sure they're taken care for appropriately and effectively, but then
because that's what we're supposed to do.
Exactly.
With probably the underlying reason of, I don't know why they avoid this question. They immediately go to guns with all these school shootings or church shootings, whatever. They don't say, why did this person want to kill these people? They just say, how did they do it? They did it with guns. Take the guns away. That shooting would have never happened.
Yeah,
there's a lot of ways you can kill a lot of people. If you solve why that person wants to kill someone, and if you can intervene beforehand, then that stops people dying.
Yeah.
Well, you don't, and they don't mention how many of these people were under mood-altering antidepressants and things like that either.
Or how many times they were basically flagged at school of,
and I'm not saying
acting out in class, or was violent against other students, and were never given the appropriate attention or care that they needed to appropriately assess their mental health of the danger that they could be to others, until they hit a breaking point and they kill their fellow students and teachers.
That sounds too much like a solution, Kurckland.
Yeah.
Historically,
we're not. This country's not about solutions. We're about division.
Not because mental health is another wormhole.
We are about financially capitalizing on.
You're right
things
about that.
Like that. I mean,
hashtag war machine. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Is it did Tulsi show up?
Yeah. Can we make some?
I like Tulsi.
We'd rather figure out, hey, if we can prescribe something to these people and just milk them of millions of dollars.
Mental health is just like anything else, and as a planet, humanity cares very little about the mentally ill. Today is certainly much better than the 1700s, but really, I mean, mental incapacitation versus physical isn't really much different. But it's that way with everything, with gun control, with gender norms, things like that. just pacify. Just, numb it. Don't talk about it. It'll be okay. Just go. And we don't want to find solutions to anything.
Until another school is shot up and children are killed. And so then here's another thing in the next debate that I can stand up and say, I did not like that these children were murdered. And that'll win you social currency.
I hope you didn't.
Exactly. Well, I mean, if
you say it one time and it rallies a bunch of people, you never talk about it again until the next one happens. And you say it one time and it rallies a bunch of people and you never talk about it again. I mean, are we really concerned with finding a solution? Or
No, we're not. All
Exactly.
of these issues that we talk about keep the shell game going. Keep us distracted and twisted up about things that aren't getting solved. We're not offering solutions. We're just offering emotion about it. While behind the scenes, behind the curtain, the real powers that be are getting people into office, and getting legislation put into effect.
Are you talking about the Rothschilds?
I'm talking about
Whoever you want to
big
give
farm. I'm talking about
big
oil.
corporations.
I'm talking about insurance.
that's something
Central banking.
Yeah, banking.
That's something that'll really upset you whenever you study pharmaceuticals and who are prescribed pharmaceuticals, how many people have fallen to addiction, it's unbelievable.
Hey, listen.
How much money those people make, and then how many people, like with EpiPens, of how it only costs, I forget how much money it is to actually manufacture it, and of course you have to raise a little bit above the cost of manufacture to make profit and to pay workers, but they like quadrupled the price a few years ago. The price to manufacture it did not increase. They just had a life-saving drug that could save another human person, and they just quadrupled it because, what are you going to do? Are you going to get stung by a bee and die, or are you going to get stung by a bee and use this pen to save your life?
Well, that's like on EpiPens. Not that this, but a Colorado judge just signed where you can only have like $100 cap on EpiPens. Like a few days ago, and people were like, people were so surprised by it, and then everybody else was like, why are you surprised that he's trying to help out, the millions of people who need EpiPens for literally anything? It's ridiculous. I do agree about that.
That's funny that y'all are sharing the mic because y'all are both studying this stuff right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Well, I studied this while I was a criminology student. I just recently switched to addiction studies, but that was one of the classes I took was drugs and society, and I specifically chose to study narcotics.
Yeah.
And how many stories I've heard and read and have witnessed of even teenagers with getting their wisdom teeth cut out and given hydros, and there's just something in their brain that activates a lot more than
you're looking at one
than someone else, and they become addicted, and they move from prescription pills, and it goes heavy and heavier and heavier until they overdose on fentanyl. Like that's happened so many times, and it started because of something they couldn't avoid. They wanted to be void of pain, and they were told by the doctor, take this and you'll be rid of the pain for the week that it'll last. Now you have a lifelong either have a lifelong addiction that you struggle with the rest of your life, or you'll die from an overdose.
There's only one
and that starts at
drug.
A teenager.
There's only one gateway drug in this nation.
It's
marijuana.
And it's marijuana. Opioids do not cause addiction.
Well, and there's starting to be a lot of attention given to the mental health crisis in this nation. But I don't believe that increasing big farms' profit margins with more pills
is best
for mental
for
health
people.
No, that's not a solution for mental health. We need it's cheaper and easier to sell a whole bunch of pills that are cheap and easy to make than it is to invest in mental health professionals and programs to actually help people from tough walks of life or difficult medical issues or whatever the case is that led them to the mental state that they're in. That's what you need. You need the professionals and the programs, people interaction to help these people. Pills are not the answer. They can assist, but they are not.
They can assist, but I mean,
Definitely.
what I keyed in on there is just coming from somebody that has struggled with that and still in recovery. The program is to me the solution is spiritual. And I don't want to get on my soapbox too much, but there is a solution. Anybody out there that is might hear this and wonder how you can get out of that cycle is, it's out there. You just got to get in contact with somebody and some type of recovery program, because it's a spiritual malady that you're experiencing. You're trying to put a square peg in a round hole. That's what you're trying to do. What are you gonna say?
He was just telling him not to breathe in the mic.
Yeah,
I'm a mouth breather.
I was telling Vader back there to back off.
I do the same thing. I'm just glad it's going to be somebody else besides me. Just going.
No, that's what I'm like. Is it Isaac? Is it Finch? Is it Isaac? Is it Finch?
No, I do it a lot.
I want to say one more thing about the social currency thing, and cancel culture. Our little podcast here is a perfect social experiment. We joke about it all the time. Nobody's listening except our 3 Dutch friends,
who we've never met.
But
They must think America's a mess.
should we pick up enough attention and start to draw advertising interest and things like that, then somebody's going to try to dictate us what we can and can't say.
Right.
And this is supposed to be a free speech medium. That's the whole, that's the draw.
Big
That's
Farm,
the
I know
appeal.
y'all got big pockets. Give us a holler.
Big Farm's probably
We'll
waiting
sell
at my
our
house to
morals
kill
for-
me as soon as I get home. I think they already have.
That is something cool though with this platform, with other platforms of, we're able to separate.
Yeah.
People have the opportunity to not be dictated, how much money you can make from it.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about America? You saying we're not dictated? What?
Do what I can.
Not exactly yet.
Yeah.
We're totally free.
Yeah.
Of course.
And the other thing about Rogan, I wanted to say something about Rogan earlier when we were talking about him. His appeal, for me at least, is that he's very genuine. He's not advertiser dollar driven. He has a few, but he's not, he's not stopping for commercials every so often. He's saying what he wants to say.
Yeah,
And
you
he's
skip through 7 minutes of commercials and then you just listen to the
Yeah.
podcast.
right, and then he allows others to say what they want to say. Doesn't necessarily agree with them, but he allows it.
Yeah, and he catches a lot of shit because, he'll let people actually express their idea. And he'll be like, oh, well, you made a good point there. And he'll ask them back and forth every once in a while. But,
And he'll even say, maybe I don't see that, but I get what you're saying. I mean, I
Right.
get that that's how you feel about it.
And I think Joe's like me. He's kind of not necessarily a born skeptic, but his parents split up when he was really young. And when that happens, like, I'm 5 years old and, oh, Daddy, just stop coming to pick me up. And I'm like, well, they're supposed to love each other and be here always. And, they, if they're lying about that, then what else are they lying about,
Well, that's a good point. Going back to solutions for mental health issues, kids. One of the biggest things that for any kid from a broken home, that's a gateway drug to mental health issues.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and social issues.
Crime.
Yeah, and crime. So just right there, just take that statistic alone. If we have
Anybody looking for acceptance.
anybody looking for acceptance or identity, if we have some way to deal with that, and I'm not talking about a pill, because that seems to be what they do. And kids who are hyperactive or ADHD or whatever,
Suppress them.
Yeah, and that's the nature of the game, and everything is
Because
suppression.
it's money.
Yes,
Let the kid go outside. If you let the kid go outside, he'll tire himself out.
pills are cheap to
Maybe.
make and expensive to sell.
Yeah.
Or expensive to buy. So
I just looked up in 2018, Americans spent $500 billion on prescription medication
Wow.
last year alone.
Which is amazing to me, honestly, because and I think
Nice.
my mic saying just the weird thing. In a culture that seems so wary or quote woke, how much money people spend. Like people who are afraid to eat a steak because it might, have something in it that is not in it. But will also pump their kid full of,
yes,
Adderall to keep them focused, which you're giving your kid meth, by the way.
Right.
That's all
It's an
Adderall
amphetamine,
is.
yes.
But you're afraid if they don't eat an organic steak, they might. I don't even know what they're scared of.
It's all those antibiotics.
Don't even get me started. Sorry.
It's all those non-natural additives that just affect the growth and
all those
development
You want to know
of
what's in your
America's
beef
youth.
that you get from
It's all in small
Meat
cows
and
out
fat, and
there.
it's delicious.
and deliciousness. Exactly.
Yes.
I'd love to do an agriculture podcast and just
Well, I'm fixing to start carnivore next week.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm committing to it. I'm committing to it. Yeah, he's doing it.
Let's transition off
because we just
of,
went
off of
the
politics.
rails.
Yeah,
Carry your depends in your truck with you.
I'm getting ready to talk about Sky Daddy.
Oh yeah.
I walked in at just a wild time and just jumped right in.
Right after we finished sports, you came into this.
Yeah, it's
I
like,
would have been completely useless in sports.
Which is why we wanted you here.
but when you got here, we were like, hey, the college kid's here.
Yeah, that's
right. He'll tell us all about social constructs. Let's transition. One thing I've been wanting to talk about is just self improvement, and and James and John, y'all have both done a podcast on the Rant channel about just some of the things y'all have been through, and like for me, like there's things. I guess I've just kind of looked at my habits, just not just like. Not like any type of dependency. I mean, well, no, we can get into that. But like the things I do with my time. Like I want to be more productive. I love playing guitar. I said on our video game podcast, I don't know how many times I've told Kirk, dude, I could freaking shred like Jimmy Page if I didn't have an Xbox. You know? And it's like I want to be more constructive and I want to be more deliberate with how I spend my time. And that's, but I kind of had an awakening this week too, because like some things went on at work and nothing bad, just work stuff that I needed to take care of. And I'm just like, you know, there's days when I do a really good job. And then there's days when I just kind of skate through the day.
Right.
You know, and it's like,
you're not alone.
No, I'm not. But that grind gets to you.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just kind of sitting here thinking, what if I applied that desire to want to be more productive with the things that I'm passionate about? What if I applied that to work? How much more successful would I be at my job? You know, and so that's one big thing that I'm really looking at, that I'm really trying to be deliberate about. And this is kind of new. And it's not some New Year's, it's towards the end of January now. This isn't some type of New Year's resolution thing. This is just me saying, hey, dude, get off your ass and be better.
Yeah.
You know? So I want to do that. I want to be more deliberate about what I eat, what I put in my body. I want to get in a little bit better shape, you know. So as far as self-improvement goes, those are things I want to do to just be a better me. And I'm not saying those are the only things I need to improve on, but like, is any of you guys, is there anything that y'all want to do that just, or you're currently working on or devoted to or whatever, that just, hey, I just want to be a better Finch. I want to be a better Isaac. I want to be a better Kurckland. I want to be a better James. You know, like, is there something going on that, you know, anybody want to jump in there and kind of speak up a little bit?
Let's go around the table with that. But I want to share something with you guys that there's a doctor I worked with, and I admire this man greatly. His name's Dr. Hahn, and he's from old money. He's never had to worry about a dollar or a cent a day in his life. I think one time he said he was born with the ability to retire.
Wow.
And what he expressed to me, and he's the smartest man, funniest guy. I admire him in every possible way. And he's somebody, when you're in him, you realize you are truly in the presence of a great person, in so many ways. And he operates at levels that are so far above, but he operates on your level when he's talking to you. That's a gift that many people are missing. But he told me once, he said, think about us at work today. He goes, I'm paid for my time here. You're paid for your time here. We're here spending our time together. He goes, what's the common denominator there? Time. That's the most important thing any of us have. It's very short. And it's where you invest that is what matters. It's not what you're getting paid for it. I can get, you can get paid whatever for anything, but you're still spending time. Mm-hmm. And so whatever you spend your time on is what's most important. I don't know, that resonated with me. And I said it nowhere near as eloquently as he said it.
No, that's
I would
that's
love
pretty
for
strong.
Him, yeah, I would love for him to be able to come and talk sometime, but he just, that made a huge impression on me. And I don't know if that means anything to you guys, but that's a big thing for me. But anyway, so what's Finch doing to improve himself?
Not a damn thing.
That's
besides
false.
the grooming.
Yeah, I cut my beard back for the first time in 4 years, and I was like, well, we're going on a diet.
Dude, you've been like a teenage girl that got a bad haircut the last 2 days.
It totally wrecked, man. I'm serious.
We're all
He's been our entertainment on chat.
Thought about
text.
necking myself a couple times. But that's nothing new. I mean, I just... Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna try the carnivore diet.
What is that? Explain that.
Well, okay.
Or as best
as far
as
as
you
I
can.
know, it's basically just they call it carnivore. It's like zero carb. You just eat meat and fat. Anything that's in the animal. Some people go hard in the paint. They don't have any dairy whatsoever, no cheese. I'm going to try that at first. And they just do meat and water. I'm going to allow myself coffee because I'm, from occupation.
Dependent.
And you don't want to kill anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try it. I'm just, bacon and eggs for breakfast, some coffee. I'm going to grill me up some burgers to take on the road. I might add cheese later, but at first I'm just going to try to eat the burgers. I guess like a 80-20, like high fat content because you need a lot of the fat.
So,
and then like eat a ribeye for dinner.
Any condiments or anything?
No.
So I guess my
you got
question
salt,
is, what's the difference between like that and like the Atkins diet?
I guess the main difference is you can have some carbs on the Atkins diet, but you're restricted to about 50 grams.
Yeah, well, even on keto, it's you incorporate carbs, but you limit refined sugars, and you want to keep it to a minimal amount of grams per day. I think like 50 or less, or whatever. I think hardcore people even do like 15 or less, or something,
crazy.
which is like a slice of bread,
Right.
and for a whole day.
So you're just all protein and fat.
All protein and fat.
Sweet.
Is what it's going to be. Yeah. So, and I mean, I guess just by default you get into ketosis.
Yeah, the idea with low carb is that you're gonna cause your body to stop using carbs and sugars for energy and storing that up, and you start burning fat, and it does work. It's not necessarily fun, and according to Rogan on the carnivore diet, don't trust the fart.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better keep some baby wipes,
problems,
wipes in that truck, bro.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, that's nothing new. I've had some incidents. I can tell you some stories. Of some bad burritos in Texas. But yeah,
You should have known.
I never really tried. I never really tried a diet before because I hadn't drank in about 9.5 months and closing in on 10. Golly, it's coming quick.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I never wanted to do that for the last 4 years or so because that messes with my boozing. You know what I mean? That's like a lot of bourbon and beer on the diet. So it's like, does it really matter what I'm going to eat?
Right.
So now it's like, well, I can commit to this. I got over that mental block. So we can try to lean up a little bit because I was actually doing pretty good diet wise before Christmas, but when the holidays hit, I went from I was hanging right around 250, and I'm 270 now. So we got to do something.
I'm right. I'm like 270, and you're like 9 inches taller than I am.
That does help. That does help carrying it, but the main thing is my main motivation for it. Is just like to a new challenge. In sobriety, and to feel better because at our age, you start just feeling. You really start to feel that crappy food that you're eating. Your diet really affects you a lot, and I have a lot of inflammation. I don't just drive; I flatbed haul, and so I got to get out and do a lot of work and stuff. And I have a kettlebell routine that I do. I was doing really well on doing it daily. Pavel's Simple and Sinister. Rogan had Pavel on a while back, and it's awesome. But and it's just for it's really awesome for older guys because if you just want to get in a groove and maintain a level of strength and some cardio fitness. It's not the best tool for either one, but I think it's the best all around tool. And I just want to try something, a new challenge, and try to feel better because my joints are always just like hurting.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of it's diet.
I think one thing that one thing I did for a long time is, especially being a single guy, and a lot of times if I was working, my girls were with their mom,
Yeah.
because I would work a schedule, work 3 on 4 off. When I'm working, I'm by myself.
Right.
When I'm off, I'm with my kids. But that's changed a lot in the last few years. But man, I will go all day and work, and I'll drink some coffee and get a little bite to eat in the mornings, and then just drink a little water and maybe some crackers during the day. When I get off at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, like, I'm hungry. But, like, I'm telling myself, like, I don't know if this is an addiction or not, but, like, I'm telling myself, like, man, I'm on the way home, I'm driving by Sonic or Taco Bell, I'm like, man, I want to get something to eat.
Yeah.
As a single guy, it's a lot easier to pull in there and grab a burger or a Nachos Bel Grande than it is to go home and cook a meal, So, man, I just got stuck in a habit for years, whether it was when we worked at Tokusin, get off work, run through McDonald's, go home, eat on the way home, take a shower, watch some TV, go to bed.
Right.
So that's really something that I've tried to break. I've tried to be a little bit more deliberate about maybe drinking a protein shake during the day or something like that, or at the end of the work day, so that hunger isn't there. But man, it's tough. It's tough driving by those places thinking, man, some cheddar pepper sure would be good right now.
I love mozzarella sticks.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, it's food can be an addiction, and maybe it's just a habit. Maybe
It's been one of my biggest my whole life.
Yeah. I mean,
I kind of shifted to that. That's one of the other reasons I'm going on this. I started being like, well, I ain't drinking, can't drink.
Might as well eat.
We're gonna eat.
but then I get to where, man, I'll stop and get some. I mean, and just in the last 2 or 3 months, it's really, I think I'm trying to really turn that corner.
Yeah.
To where it's like, okay, I can stop and get a cheeseburger. Man, I can eat a large fry, but I'm gonna feel like crap. So the enjoyment I get out of ingesting that stuff over how I know I'm going to feel afterwards, I'm kind of more on the side of I'd rather feel better.
Yeah, you got to retrain your reward system, because that's what I did. Is when you're a functional alcoholic, it's like that's how you can. I'm gonna get all this shit done, and then boys, we're gonna find
it's beer 30.
We've been throw down.
Yeah.
What the reward system, what it ends up being is you take away the instant gratification and you trade it for, well, today I did lean meat and green vegetables all day, and I kept it consistent throughout the day, and I drank 64 ounces of water. This is for me. This is me speaking how it worked for me initially, and then you put that day, you do one day at a time. That day's good. You do the same thing the next day. That day's good. Pretty soon, what happens is you start forgetting about, well, oh man, that those cheddar peppers sound good, or chili cheese fries sound good. You don't think about that anymore because you're so focused on this day I'm going to eat these things, and then that'll be a good day. And what happens as those perspectives change, you start to notice, hey man, I feel better. John remembers when I first started doing that, I was on crack. I had like brain fog totally lifted out of my head. Like I could think more clearly. My energy was through the roof. I couldn't even control myself. I was like, it was almost like natural meth. At first. And
what were you at your heaviest?
At my heaviest,
before you got into cycling?
I was 380.
You were 380.
Yeah. And then I got down to about 240 doing that. And then when I started cycling, I dropped all the way down to I was below 200, like 190 is where I was living.
Yeah, it seemed like you were about 185 or something.
And then, and that was huge for me for a few years. And then I got, then I was paralyzed in 2018 from the neck down, and I've been recovering ever since. And so just from the nature of muscle atrophy and everything that went along with being paralyzed, in 2019 I started at 180 pounds. and this New Year's I was 250. So yeah, it's time to start doing right again because, I couldn't really move, so I was housing ice cream and sweets and all that stuff for, especially the last 6 months of this past year. So now I'm back, I'm kind of doing the low carb, high fat, high protein, and I've already noticed a change and already feel better. That change that I was talking about energy levels coming up and brain fog and just everything is, it feels way better than to feel like complete crap when I was housing all the junk and the sweets and stuff. So,
Isaac, what are you doing to be a better Isaac?
Well, kind of go a little bit motivational.
Don't lie to us. If it's nothing, just say nothing.
Well, I'll get there. Because y'all are going to laugh. But I had a college professor that told our class one time, in a world that praises mediocrity, be great or something. It was something very well like that. And so since then, because I'm in college, I like C's get degrees all the way. And so my last 2 semesters, I really tried and did a lot better and was a little bit more proud of myself. But something that, kind of like you said, Stark, like, I just, get home from work, and I'm just like, I just want to sit here and play Xbox. And so something that I've just been, talking to myself the past couple weeks is, I used to work out, in high school and even, my first couple semesters in college, and I was in better shape, far better shape than I am now. And then, I had to have back surgery and was down the whole summer, and since then, I was just like, well, I'm out of the habit. And so something that I've just kind of been trying to tell myself is I want to get, back involved with working out and doing this. And part of that is I've decided that Kirk and Adam know this, but I can't ride a bike. I never learned how to ride a bicycle.
Yeah.
And in Northwest Arkansas, there's a huge cycle culture.
James is about to be your best friend.
And tons of people in my office
coach anyway.
Bike.
Yeah.
A lot of, what I do for work, my 4-H kids, a lot of them, cycle on the weekends.
Yeah.
There's stuff going on in Fable all the time that deals with bicycles. So I'm like, you know what? If I could ride a bike, I literally, because I hate running. Running is awful. I hated high school football. I love football. I love lifting weights. Hated running.
You were lineman. You had to move 4 feet every time.
Hey, linemen have to be quick and short distances, which I am not. I'm not fast. But so one of the things I've really just kind of dedicated myself to this year is I'm gonna learn how to ride a bike. And so that's really something I've been looking at is getting a bike and finding a place where I can keep it and how do I move it and when am I actually going to make myself learn how to ride it, which I'm going to. I haven't yet. But I mean,
motorcycle and ride with us.
Yeah, true. I think just overall a betterment as a person because the other day I was buying groceries and I was like I didn't even buy a loaf of bread just because I don't eat a lot of carbs, but I like to eat. I like food clearly, as you can tell. And so a few dietary things. Changing this carnivore thing sounds pretty interesting. I eat a lot of that's what most of my meals consist of. If I cook for myself at home, it's either chicken breast, it's pork chops, it's cube steak, or something that I can cook there with me. And I don't use butter to cook with. I don't use a lot of salt. I don't usually eat with bread. I usually cook vegetables.
Dude, you can buy flank steak or something like that.
Absolutely.
Enough of that for the price. You can buy enough steak to eat for a week. And it may not be a T-bone or a prime rib, but you can buy enough steak to eat on for a week for what you pay for one extra value meal.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Steam fresh vegetables are super cheap.
Oh yeah,
it's so good.
Easy, yeah,
and so I've just kind of made a commitment to myself to one, just be more healthy and get back into working out, and also make myself learn how to ride a bike. Just because it sounds funny, and for a while I was I can't ride a bike, but now I'm kind of okay, you're gonna be 24 and you don't know how to ride a bike. Get your dad together. And so that's just kind of me. But
that's actually how you got folded up because you were training for the Hotter Than Hell out in Wichita Falls. Yeah, it's 100 miles out there.
Good Lord!
And he had just done a century, and then
100 miles in how long?
Just so you finish.
He needs a mic.
It just depends on the pace that you're trained for. I was pretty slow. I think I did it in 5 hours, 50 minutes, something like that.
Less than a day.
So really,
how far is it?
When he was getting into this, that's what I was like. I was like crazy people.
Yeah.
But
that's those guys on Rogan that do those
ultra marathons.
Good Lord,
or through hikers.
But I knew he was getting what it was. Is he was trying to talk me into it, and I was like, he's getting the juice off of that. You got to be getting You got to be getting high off of it if you're going riding a bike for 100 miles. You know what I mean? And he was.
So another part of this too, something I've really
That's
been
insane.
interested in for the past few years is on Instagram. I follow a guy called the Hiking Viking, and he's ex-military.
Yeah.
He's retired, and he's a professional through hiker now.
Yep.
And so on his Instagram, it's just feeds of him hiking like
that's
the
your
Great
Tinder
American
pic.
Trails. And so when I got started, he had just started the Appalachian Trail in Vermont or Maine,
Yeah,
wherever
I
it
think-
starts, and it's somewhere up there. It's way up
Yeah,
there.
yeah. It's like goes all the way from like
my dolly
the Carolinas to Vermont. doesn't
He
it?
started at the
Started-
trailhead.
yeah.
He started at the trailhead up north and ended in Georgia,
Yes.
where it ends. And so I was like, dude, that would be so cool just to hike like a third of that leg, or even like the Pacific Trail, or
Great.
It would
I
be.
just, I was led to believe that I was in well enough shape to do a 45-mile hike on the Grand Teton National Park.
Oh Jesus!
with your chicken legs.
We told
Yeah.
you were not led to believe that. We told you.
No,
were.
no.
We told you
Chuck
the
Miller
whole
said,
time.
if you can make this, if you can do this workout today, I think you'll be fine.
one-
I freaking crushed it.
The one thing about Chuck
Day
Miller,
one out on that trail.
the one thing
I'm dead.
about Chuck Miller you should
3
know
more days.
is he's a liar. He will lie to make you believe that you can do something so that you do it. But no, I
I
just
did it though.
But I always I like to hike and I like to be outside. And there's a bunch of cool places in Northwest Arkansas to hike, like Hawks Bay
yeah.
You're the
and
closest
Devil's
place
Den.
to a lot of the cool
And
stuff.
so, that's just part of me. Is like I want to be, because I used to do that like when I was in high school and even my first couple of semesters, and I just got out of the habit.
Just do it,
And
'cause
just
you're in the
making
you're in the
myself-
spot.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
And so, I
gotta
guess
drive
just
3 freaking hours for that.
being a better, being a better person.
Let's keep it moving because
Central
James is
Arkansas-
going to have to
Oh,
go
yeah.
for
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, Central Arkansas, we have the best hiking training is Pinnacle Mountain. You
Yeah.
go up and down that, and you get in shape.
Kirk,
Yeah. So I guess this has been on my mind since November. Been how I've been kind of living my life. Big surprise. I'm a Christian. I'm white, male, and straight. So that other one just kind of falls in there. But so I lost my scholarship back around the end of the semester this time last year. So May. Tried to take some summer classes, get the GPA back up. Barely missed it by like 0.1 whatever GPA. So I lost my scholarship. I was a criminology major. Really enjoyed the field. And so I was still going for that. And into the next semester, one of the classes I took was called Police and Society. I did a lot of work with the law enforcement agencies in Conway, so like UCAPD, FCSO, Conway, did I already say that? UCA. Anyways, and it just kind of occurred to me that I'm not cut out for law enforcement. I thought of the stress that it puts on a family, the stress that it puts on a person and a relationship, and a marriage. And I said there will never be anything that's more important than family or friends, and certainly not a career. Is going to overcome those.
you're never going to be successful at anything. I swear.
Yeah.
Hashtag capitalism.
And so I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but it was in the end of the semester, and I was like, I know I'm not going to be in this field. I wrote a 103-page paper for that freaking class, and the most I learned was 4 or 5 hour car rides with police officers about the entire thing. That was the most beneficial thing, but aside from the point. And so from there, I a lot of people saw it as procrastination, but because I changed my major and registered for classes the week that classes started. So kind of with the spiritual thing of I've learned more and more the more that I take my hand out of my life and allow God to guide me and to not interfere with what is planned for my life and how things should work. Things fit into my life so perfectly. It's absolutely astounding. I went in Tuesday. Classes started 2 days later on Thursday. I went and I talked to the director of the addiction studies program. Talked with her for about 2.5 hours. She said, "This is the perfect schedule for this next semester." I got every single class. 2 days before. Well, it was confirmed the night before the classes started that I had gotten all these classes. And it just worked out. And, you know, the more that I stopped trying to make things happen for myself and just allow...
You get out of the way.
I'm out of the way, yeah. And that's something I've been trying to teach the people around me, especially my college friends, because they say, you stress me out because you're not stressed out. And you haven't registered for classes. Yes, I don't stress about things. I don't worry about things. I live literally day to day. I keep the future in mind, but it's never... I can't control that.
No. It's not even real.
It's not real. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not real. You can make this reality here and say in 5 years I'll have my own rehabilitation center, or in 5 years I will have flunked out of college and be $50,000 in debt. They're both realities. Neither of them are true. Yet. You know, you can follow one or the other.
Focus on the positive one, though.
Yes, definitely. But that neither one is confirmed or, you know, guaranteed. And so why stress so much about something that's not guaranteed? And so something, too, with the past of not dwelling in the past and, you know, learning from the past to apply to the present and to the future, but not being hung up on it. One of my favorite quotes ever is... what happened, and it couldn't have happened any other way because it didn't. And people get so hung up on their past and things.
I think Gandalf said that.
Gandalf?
Yeah.
Well, whatever. Whoever said it.
I don't know.
Sounds like Gandalf. But what happened, and it couldn't have happened any other way because it didn't. People get so hung up on the things that didn't happen. So I know people who would be hung up on them losing their scholarship now. It's been almost a year. And they're like, gosh, I can't believe I lost my scholarship. I don't know what I'm ever going to do. I've moved past that so fast.
But did your mom move
my
past
mother
that?
is still not past it. But, you know, kind of understandably. But.
Your dad's like, yeah, lost your scholarship, dumbass.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, losing my scholarship made me completely reassess, and it was no longer, because I could have gone the entire ride. I could have graduated police academy because I had college paid for. I would have been making money. I would have been making money by the end of my college career, the end of my college education, based on the scholarship that I had. I had a really good scholarship based on my ACT score, but I lost that, and I had to assess: is this what I want to do for the rest of my life? It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't. And that was because I had learned something through a class, and you know, a class I had taken that does not count towards what I'm doing now. I added it up today. I'm probably about $5,000 completely in the hole because of an entire semester of classes that I took that will not apply to this new degree in any way. Exactly. I'm not worried about that at all.
As a family member that loves you, I'm glad you figured that out in college and you didn't figure it out after working in a factory for 13 years.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Driving a truck. I'm start playing this character. I don't want to play this character anymore.
Yeah. Or
you know what I mean?
You keep grinding because you're like, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm supposed to do.
Uh-huh.
And then you're just like, I'm miserable. This sucks.
Mm-hmm. I see that. But I see that all around me on campus, and even
you're always going to see that.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
And I just, if you just let go, if you would just, and it's so easy to say, don't stress, don't worry. But not stressing and not worrying does not mean not caring. You know, I care about my future. I will invest in the people around me, and will invest in my future. I'm getting a college education for my future. But am I worried about the things that are going to happen to me? No, because I've got something guaranteed. Whatever happens to me here and now, will happen to me however it happens.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. I'm not going to be worried about it. And I try so hard to help the people around me understand that, because I'm able to live a life just day by day and stressful.
Sorry.
I just want to help, because I see the struggle of stress and worry from a freaking grade.
Yeah.
And there's a lot worse that can happen to you than not making an A. And so that's been I guess the improvement I've been doing on my life is the more I let go and let my life be guided by someone who's a lot smarter than me and a lot higher than me and powerful than I could ever be, the better my life has become. You know,
I want to get
people will completely disregard that for the simple fact that I mentioned God, Christian, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's value. There's value in that. I mean, I'm like Thomas. Okay, like there's days that I wake up and I don't believe this stuff. I'm skeptical because you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. But what I found out, been in the game a little longer than y'all. If I just do this thing, if I just do it, forget about what I believe, because what I believe is just whatever. It changes all the time. I can't lean on my understanding. So if I just
told not to,
how much have you and you screwed up?
Right. If I just act as if this is real, then my life just works out better, and then I get the feeling back. You know what I mean? So
I'm glad you said all that, because, and this isn't so much a spiritual thing, but like me and you worked in that factory for a long time, and that place was a really good place as far as monetary means goes. It's a good place for getting to know people and building relationships. Besides that, there wasn't a whole lot good about it.
Right.
But I think
still valuable experience.
Like I quit. John quit, but like I can't speak for him. But me stepping out of that situation, I think about like friends of mine that are still there, and I'm kind of like, for years I was like, well, this is just what I'm going to do, and then I'm like, it doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
The quality of my life is so much better, and monetarily.
It's all fake money on a temporary realm anyway.
Yeah. Like I had to tighten my belt a few times, but
literally fiat currency.
But after a little while, like I can look around and be like, I'm in just as good a shape, if not better, than I was when I was there.
Yeah.
And I want to, say what you want. Big shout out to my girlfriend. Because she worked in a convenience store, had a college degree, worked in a convenience store for 17 years, and had a pretty sweet gig as far as her schedule and stuff goes. Mm-hmm. But she steps out, and her best friend purchased their own business, and they're doing great.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you don't always have to be that person that you think you don't always have to be in that spot. Your income and what you've got budgeted for that month and your mortgage, they don't dictate. Those are responsibilities you still have to live up to. They don't dictate who you are and how you should feel and how you should live your life every single day.
Yeah, I'll add this just really quick. My roommate Joe has some crazy stuff going on at work right now and was struggling to find out the money of where he's going to pay rent. And I just, in my mind, when he told me that, I was like, I've heard crazy stuff happening before. $300 showed up in his bank account. Talked to his mom. She wouldn't lie to him. If she put that money in there, she would tell him. Because she's done it before. But don't know where that money came from. He has enough money for rent. Crazy stuff happens.
Might be like my account.
He was stressed about
there's a Jonathan Finch in southern Arkansas.
He spends a lot of your money, doesn't he?
No, he keeps putting money in my. They keep putting money in my account, thinking I'm him. I guess he didn't know his account number, and they just look up the first Jonathan Finch. Yeah. Well, I always tell him, like, that ain't my money.
No, what a good guy. What a hero.
But I want to go down there and check out what his crib looks like and be like, hey, man, you want to swap? Yeah. You know what I mean?
It'd be easy to change these pictures on these IDs.
Yeah, let's just,
let's just trade Social Security cards.
Yeah.
You're good.
We going to wrap it up?
Yeah, I kind of already said, my deal. I'm trying to get my weight back under control to a more managed, a place where I feel better again, because I have been feeling a little worse with the gain. But the other thing is I'm going to school. I'm 45. I haven't been to school and college in forever, but I'm actually looking at the same program as Kurckland.
We haven't known each other very long. We're old.
We just met 4 podcasts ago or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That's how time works.
But anyway, yeah, I don't know what day it is anymore. I've been isolated through this recovery from being paralyzed, and I've actually had a little brain atrophy too. So that's a big thing. Is I'm trying to get my mind active again and do something productive. And I'm actually working towards the same program, addiction studies, counseling. try to help some people.
That's awesome.
And so yeah, just one day at a time, and with an eye to the future. And then I had something else profound to say, but they lost me because.
Well, that's what happens, though. I mean, if you get stuck doing these things that we think we have to do, you know, you were an X-ray tech.
Yeah.
And doing CT scans and all that stuff, and you were miserable, but you just wanted to. You thought you had to go do it and get to make some money, and then this this terrible thing happens in your life, and now you're getting to do what you want to do.
Yeah, and that's kind of, you know, what Kirk was saying too about let go, you know, kind of let go and just let things happen as they're supposed to, and even though this turn of events, this crossroads has been the worst one ever, it's kind of actually pointing me into the direction that I kind of always wanted to be in the first place.
Right.
So you take the positives with everything.
Wild how things just line up. Huh?
Yep, it is.
Yeah, and you know,
it's unreal.
I heard somebody talking this week. It may have been Joe Rogan, but I think it
Rogan.
I think it was, but they were he was talking to a guy that had a really rough upbringing and was struggling with alcoholism when he was like 12 years old. You know, from the time he was 12 to when he was like 18 or 19. But
it started late.
Those are rookie numbers.
But you gotta get them numbers up, dude. I had my first beer when I was 4.
But
I was raised by savages, y'all.
Anyway, my point bringing that up was you can't appreciate the good if you don't have to go through the bad.
Right.
You know, and there's a lot of people out there that honestly, they've got it a lot worse than us, and there's a lot of people out there that don't have it near as bad as what they think they do. I'm probably one of those. You know,
I go to school with a lot of crappy people who are getting wasted because their parents are paying for college, drive a brand new vehicle. They don't have to worry in the war.
That's
You getting out?
that's the age thing.
Yeah.
But all right, I guess so. If y'all sat through our social politics rant, maybe you heard the self-improvement stuff.
What even can we call this episode?
I'll figure it out. Finch, you gonna take us out?
The band episode is what it's going to be. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
That's a good. I like that one.
I think I got to move my car. But yeah, 9/11 was an inside job. Epstein didn't kill himself. We'll get into that later. And then Ryan Johnson eat corn nugget.
See you next time. Just want to say thanks for listening. Thanks to James and John for helping put this thing together. You can find them on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to their YouTube channel at Quitterant. Just want to say thank you for listening to the Dodge That Bullet podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or Google Play Store, wherever you listen to your podcast, at DTB Pod or Dodge That Bullet podcast. Also, you can check out our website at dtbpod.podbean.com. Or you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at DTBPod. If you like what you hear, feel free to share or tell your friends. Any support is greatly appreciated, and we'll see you next time.